I never imagined the final chapter of my marriage would end with silence, paperwork, and a phone call I didn't return. My name is Grant Holloway. I'm 52, an engineer by trade, the kind of man who believed consistency was a form of love. I was married to Eleanor for 23 years. People thought we were stable, boring even. That was fine with me. Stability was the point. I worked, paid the mortgage, planned for retirement, fixed things before they broke. Eleanor used to say I was dependable. I thought that was a compliment. The cracks didn't come suddenly. They crept in quietly, disguised as independence. Eleanor wanted more weekends away, more time with friends I didn't know well. She said she was rediscovering herself. I didn't argue. I believed marriages evolved. I believed giving space was mature. Our conversations shortened. Dinners turned into separate meals. Nights ended with her phone glowing between us. When I reached for her, she'd sigh like I was interrupting something important. I told myself this was normal. Long marriages settle. Passion fades. Commitment doesn't. Her daughter, Paige, was always watching. 27, sharp-tongued, permanently dissatisfied. She treated our home like a hotel and me like staff. Eleanor excused it as stress, as youth, as ambition. Paige never liked me. She said I was controlling because I asked for notice before she moved in for months at a time. Eleanor said I lacked empathy. I stopped pushing. I thought peace was worth the cost. The first real fracture happened on a Tuesday. Eleanor said she was staying late for a charity board meeting. I stayed up, not worried, just awake. Midnight passed. 1 a.m. came and went. She texted that she'd crashed at a friend's place. No name, no explanation. When she came home the next afternoon, she smelled unfamiliar, like hotel soap. I asked a single question. She responded with 3 accusations and a reminder that I didn't own her. After that, the truth revealed itself in pieces. A receipt left in a coat pocket. A message preview flashing on her phone. A name I didn't recognize appearing too often. I never confronted her directly. I didn't need to. I already knew. The man was younger, divorced, temporary. She framed it as a mistake, then as a phase, then as something I had pushed her into by being emotionally unavailable. I listened. I didn't shout. I didn't plead. I started sleeping in the guest room. We didn't divorce. Not immediately. Eleanor said we could coexist, that marriages survived worse. I asked if she was still seeing him. She said that was none of my business. That was the moment I stopped trying. I separated our finances quietly, changed beneficiaries, updated my will. I moved my important documents into a safe deposit box. I stayed polite, civil, distant. Paige noticed and accused me of punishing her mother. Eleanor said I was being dramatic. 3 months later, Eleanor moved out. Not to start over, she said, just to clear her head. She rented a furnished flat. We communicated through brief texts about logistics. Then one evening, my phone rang from an unknown number. A hospital. Eleanor had been admitted after an incident. There were complications. By the time I arrived, she was already gone. Cardiac arrest, they said. Sudden. She'd been found in another man's bed. I stood there longer than necessary, not because I was grieving, but because I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no relief, just an emptiness so complete it was almost peaceful. I signed the forms. I declined to view the body. I drove home alone. That night, I slept deeply for the first time in years. The funeral arrangements became my problem by default. Paige called the next morning, hysterical and furious. She demanded I pay for everything, said it was my duty as Eleanor's husband. I reminded her, calmly, that Eleanor had moved out and that her estate would handle expenses. Paige screamed that I was heartless. She told me Eleanor would have wanted a large service. I told her she should arrange it then. I did not attend the funeral. I sent no flowers. I wrote no speech. Instead, I met with my solicitor and finalized the separation that death had made permanent. Eleanor's will, updated after she left most of her assets to Paige. What remained joint had already been accounted for. Paige showed up at my house unannounced a week later, demanding money. She said her mother had sacrificed everything for me. I asked her to leave. She refused. I called the police. After that, the messages started. Accusations, threats, long emails about morality and obligation. I blocked her everywhere. I changed my number. I closed that chapter completely. People asked if I felt guilty for skipping the funeral. I told them the truth. I mourned the marriage years ago. What died later was just a body, not the bond. I don't tell this story for sympathy. I tell it because there is a difference between loyalty and self-erasure. I stayed faithful. I stayed calm. I stayed reasonable. Eleanor made her choices. Paige inherited her sense of entitlement. I inherited silence, and in that silence, clarity. Some endings don't require closure ceremonies. Sometimes, the most respectful thing you can do is walk away and not look back. In the months since, life has been smaller and steadier. I make my own meals, take longer walks, speak to fewer people, and sleep without tension. There are moments when memory tries to rewrite history, to soften what happened, but I don't let it. I remember facts, not fantasies. Trust once broken does not resurrect with apologies or funerals. I learned that absence can be kinder than confrontation, and detachment can be dignity. I didn't win anything. I simply stopped losing myself to people who mistook endurance for permission. That lesson, earned late, still counts. It is enough for me now. Truly enough.